The Lions are going to be improved. This is no cakewalk week one, folks, for the Eagles. I think the line's like 4.5 or 5, depending on where you're shopping. I don't know which. I may take the Lions in the points, and the Eagles win a field goal kind of game. I'm giving you a little preview already for week one, but that's kind of where I'm at. And I think they're going to be decent. Like, I think they're going to be a 7-win type of team.
Yeah.
You're with me on that, Barrett? Welcome back in, everybody. Happy Friday. Hope you're doing well out there. I am Rob Ellis, along with Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Reminder, always go to jakibsports.com. Check out the latest content on there. A lot of great stuff from John McMullen, who you see each and every day on Birds 365. John writing about the Eagles as we get set for the upcoming season. We're not all that far away, guys, believe it or not. So a couple things. Let's dive right in with the NFC. This was a fun exercise we did yesterday. We went through the AFC, and not only did we preview the divisions, we're giving you how we think it's going to finish, first to last in each of the divisions. We're going to hold, for our purposes today, the NFC East, the Eagles division, for last, okay? You guys pick it, man. You want to go north? You want to go south? You want to go west? Where do we want to start? We'll kick it off in any direction you want to go. You want to go – let's go north. How about that? We'll do Gunner a little favor since we go north with his squad. So, of course, the NFC North consists of the Bears, the Lions, the Vikings, and the Packers. I'll go first, I guess. I think it's a Packers, Vikings, Lions, Bears division. I think Green Bay comes back to earth a little bit. They still have Aaron Rodgers. They still have a lot of really good players, so I don't write them off by any stretch. But I think they come back to earth, and I think the Vikings are a very interesting football team with a new voice running them, with a lot of weapons and improved defense. I think they're a keep your eye on kind of team for me, and could be a playoff team. The Lions are going to be improved. This is no cakewalk week one, folks, for the Eagles. I think the line's like 4.5 or 5, depending on where you're shopping. I don't know which. I may take the Lions in the points, and the Eagles win a field goal kind of game. I'm giving you a little preview already for week one, but that's kind of where I'm at. And I think they're going to be decent. Like, I think they're going to be a 7-win type of team. You're with me on that, Barrett? And I don't like the Bears at all, but that's kind of where I'm at. So I'm going Packs, Vikings, Lions, Bears.
That's absolutely what's going to happen, man. You know, because, I mean, just like you said, the Lions are not going to be a pushover. You know, if the Eagles go in there thinking they're just going to beat them like they beat them before, run the ball on them like that, it'll be a long season for us, because we'll end up being just like that first year when we thought we were just going to roll over the Washington football team. They ended up beating us and set, things in motion for us to be one of the sorriest teams in the league, only winning 4.5 games. So it's imperative we get out on a good start. And I'm glad we're playing against a team that's beatable, but they're still very, very good. I want to know if this team is as dominant as I think they can be. And when you're going against the Lions, they'll give you a kind of accurate barometer, because they're not just a team that you're just going to walk all over. But, like I said, you're looking at a North team, a North division that there's no way anybody's going to be on the same level as Green Bay. Green Bay is going to walk away with it. They won't win 13 games like they did last year. They won't clinch the conference like they did last year, but they will be very competitive. They're going to win right around 11 games, 11, 12 games. I mean, they still got to get used to A-Rod. The new receivers got to get used to A-Rod, and that's a huge, huge thing. Who's going to be running the ball for them consistently. Their offensive line is pretty good. Defensively, they really stepped it up, and getting, 2 guys from Georgia that, I can see being guys who step day one and come in and start. Minnesota, like you said, you got to keep an eye on them, because they're going to be kind of sneaky good, like you said. They'll be sneaky good. Their quarterback, he's always in a mix of being, a good quarterback, but he just doesn't get you over the hump. But, they're pretty good everywhere else. They're going to run the ball consistently. Dalvin Cook didn't play last year. He was hurt for the most part of last year. But he is a good all-purpose back. Kirk Cousins, like I said, he's going to put up great numbers. Irv Smith's probably going to step into being one of the top tight ends in the league. He's going to be not necessarily a top 10, but he'll be right around there as somebody that's going to be very consistent for him. And defensively, they got a lot of stars. They have Patrick Peterson, Harrison Smith. Both of those guys, I got a lot of respect for. But then they got, another guy from Georgia and Lewis Sin, safety. I like the way he plays. Zadarius Smith left Green Bay and came down there.
Right.
If he can stay healthy, he can rush the passer. So they'll be an interesting team, as they go forward. So I'm anxious to see what they do. D-Gun, your turn.
Oh, I thought okay. I thought I agree with what Rob said in terms of the pecking order: Green Bay, Minnesota, Detroit, and then Chicago.
I ain't even talk about them. I don't want to talk about them. They suck.
Although the Bears won 6 games last year compared to Detroit winning 3, but the Bears are a train wreck right now. In terms of direction, they still don't know if Justin Fields is the quarterback of the present or the future, for that matter. When I look at Green Bay, I think the worst thing that happened to Green Bay was losing Devontae Adams, but I also think it could be a good thing for Green Bay to no longer have to rely on Devontae Adams to bail him out. Aaron Rodgers came out yesterday in a podcast and said he has the utmost confidence in his young group of receivers. Now, he does have a couple of his safety valve. Randall Cobb is still one of the best slot receivers in the game. And you got Alan Lazard, who's 6'5", who can run a 4.40. And then you brought in the kid Christian Watson, who runs a 4.2, and he's 6'5". Right. And you drafted a kid in the 5th or 6th round named Doub, D-O-U-B, who runs a 4.3. So Green Bay's going to speed now to wide receiver. Sammy Watkins is on a mission to resurrect his career. Green Bay has a great 1-2 punch at the running back, and A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones. Tight end, they have a trio of tight ends if they can keep them healthy. The problem with tight end is they can never keep their tight ends healthy. I agree with Barrett. I think Green Bay will not win 13 games 4 years in a row under Matt LaFleur. I think more like 11 or 12 will be feasible because Aaron Rodgers has to learn his way with his young group of receivers, and I guarantee Aaron Rodgers is going to be in their face on the sideline. Aaron Rodgers does not like receivers not being where they're supposed to be when he rolls out. Minnesota, I look at this route. The thing that jumps out, we can talk about the receiving core all day, but the thing that jumps out at me about Minnesota is more than the receivers is their linebacking trio of Eric Kendricks, Zadarius Smith, and Jordan Hicks now, who comes over from Arizona.
I forgot Hicks was there.
Yep. Jordan Hicks is a good linebacker, Yeah.
He stayed pretty healthy in Arizona.
Yeah, he did. Now, the secondary, I'm not concerned that much about. I think the secondary is getting a little long in tooth, Patrick Peterson and Harrison Smith. I think they're getting up there in years a little long in the tooth. The cornerbacks, they don't impress me with the cornerbacks, but Minnesota is going to give Green Bay a run for their money this year in terms of that division. Detroit, I agree with you guys. We've talked about it time and time again. I think Detroit is going to be better than they were. Does that equate to more wins? Well, considering they only won 3 games last year, it should. They were 3 and 14 last year.
A lot of tight ones, though, Derek.
Yeah, a lot of tight. Yes, no question.
Yeah,
and I always say you have to learn how to win before you can win. Whether it's the regular season or the playoffs, you have to learn how to win these games. So they went through a major learning curve. They've added some good pieces in the draft. They're coming back a year older, a year wiser. They got a good running tandem. They've got some good receivers on their team. Jared Goff is the X factor. Which Jared Goff is going to show up, And as I said, Chicago should be in the CFL this year. so that's the way I see the NFC North panning out.
Let me back up Detroit one more time. I'm just going to give you some of their losses, okay? So they lost week 1 to a good playoff, San Francisco team, right? They lost to them by 8.
Yep.
They're certainly respectable, right? They lost to Baltimore by 2. Was that on that crazy long field goal? Am I imagining that? I think it was, right? So they lose that by 2. They lose to the Vikings by 2 weeks later. They have a couple games that aren't close, including the Eagles destroying them. But then they tie in overtime with the Steelers. Then they lose by 3 to Cleveland, 2 to Chicago. They win 3 games later, they lose by 4. I mean, my point is there is a lot of close losses in the
absolutely,
tie.
absolutely.
That could have flipped 3-4 games for them either way.
And a number of their losses came down to the final possession of the game.
Yes,
and they couldn't get it done. Either they couldn't get that game-winning drive, or they gave up the game-winning drive. And so that's why I said I think they've learned from that. I think they're going to be tougher. I'm not saying they're going to compete for the division title, but they're not going to be a pushover this year. And anybody sitting here talking about the Eagles, that's an automatic win. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Coming out of the gate, teams are always the rustiest that first game of the season.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so I think that's going to be a good competitive game.
All right, let's jump over to the South then, which consists of the Panthers, the Falcons, the Saints, and the Bucs. The big news coming out of that division was 2 days ago when Baker Mayfield gets traded from Cleveland over to Carolina. So that may shift the dynamic of that team a little bit, at least in some people's eyes. But, I'm going to be obvious here and go with chalk. I still don't think anybody's better in that division than the Bucs. Although at some point you would think maybe it starts to catch up with Brady. The Bucs are a little bit different this year. Todd Bowles takes over. No more Bruce Arians. Yeah, and they lost, some nice pieces from last year's team. So I don't think they're going to be quite as good, but I would still take them to be the cream of the crop in that division. New Orleans, I put in the Minnesota category. Dangerous. I don't know, man. If Jameis Winston's good, they have a lot of talent. And if Dennis Allen can really coach as a head coach, not just a coordinator, they're troubled. Another team that could be a playoff team. So I would say the Saints second. I'm going to go Panthers third from a desperation standpoint for Matt Rule, and assuming that Mayfield can pick up this offense relatively quickly. And it's also a vote against the Falcons, who I don't think are going to be great. I don't believe in Mariota as a starter, and I think Desmond Ridder by 3/4 of the way through the season could be the starter, the kid out of Cincinnati who they drafted. So I go Bucs, Saints, Panthers, Falcons would be my order. How about you guys?
Same with me. It's the exact same order. But you guys are right, man. This Buccaneer team is going to be a lot different from what we saw before. They'll still have, their defense, Devin White, Levante Davis still anchoring that defense. They went out and got Akeem Hicks instead of having Konsu.
Yep.
They still got Vita Vea there.
He's still unsigned, by the way, isn't he? So.
Yeah. In fact, I heard a couple rumblings that he's supposed to sign with Dallas. But
oh, geez, you don't want him in Dallas.
Right. William Golston is still there, the defensive end position. They still lack a lot when it comes to their secondary. I don't know how they beat up on us with their secondary that they have, but they're not really good when you look at their secondary. They're okay, but they're not good. Anton Hetfield, instead of Winfield Jr., he's a good safety, you know what I'm saying? But he can't stay healthy. Can't stay healthy. But on the opposite side of the ball, man, hopefully Chris Godwin, is he going to be back to start the season?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question.
That's going to be tough. They did pick up Russell Gage, a really good receiver from Atlanta.
He is good. Yeah,
he's good. They still got Mike Evans. But then after that, it's starting to get rough because if you look at their offensive line, they have the 2 bookends in Donovan Smith and the third year for Tristan Wirth. They those two are really good, two good Pro Bowlers. But their guard situation, they new guys starting in there, and then you have Ryan Jensen, who's probably one of the best centers in the league. It's tit for tat for who you think is better, with whether it's Kelsey or Jensen. Both guys, I love them. I love the way they play. You got the old man Brady sitting there, and you got to protect him. So when you're weak at the guard position, he hates that because he hates to have people in his face. He wants to be able to step up all the time. He won't be able to step up as much. But look at the tight end position. They still got Cameron Brake there. Cameron Brake and after that it's slim pickings. They're used to having 3 great tight ends. They only have 2. No, they have really one tight end now. Cameron Brake's the only one there. So I don't know. Offensively, will they be as good? I don't think so. I really don't.
Okay.
Leonard Fournette's going to tote the rock, but I still don't think so.
Where do you are they still the best team in the division? Tampa? How do you say
they're still the best team in the division, but that division sucks.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. you go with New Orleans. If you look roster for roster, man for man, I think the Saints have a better team, but they just don't have a better quarterback.
Right.
That's the only thing that they're lacking is the quarterback. But, you know, it's the goated quarterback. So, you know, that's why you got to put Tampa Bay ahead of them. But, man, they got so much talent. Chris Olave, Jarvis Landry, Michael Thomas.
Yep.
You got Alvin
Kamara
there. You know, Jameis can toss it around a little bit. They went out in the first round and got Trevor Penning, probably the third best tackle in the draft last year. He's ready to play right now. Pete is still there. He's pretty good. They got, you know, the Camden kid, Cesar Ruiz at guard.
Yeah.
I like him. But at tight end, they don't have really anybody at tight end. I mean, Troutman, he's okay. They moved Taysom Hill to tight end. I mean, come on, man.
He lost his guy's not there. Like Sean Payton loved him some Taysom Hill.
Kept him afloat.
That's going to be interesting to see where that heads for him with his career there.
But defensively, I mean, they are loaded defensively. You know, they got the two bookends, Rush the passer, and Davenport and Jordan. Pretty good linebackers. You know, May has always been a good linebacker to me. But then they go out and get the Honey Badger at safety. Mix him up with, you know, one of the better corners in the league, top corners in the league, and Marshawn Lattimore. I mean, they're looking pretty good defensively. So if you look at player for player, besides the quarterback position, I really think the Saints have a better team.
I agree.
They have a better team, but not at the quarterback position, which is the biggest position that counts.
The most critical. Yep.
Yeah. Then after that, man, it's a free for all because you know you got a quarterback that's on. I mean, you got a quarterback too, but a head coach that's on the hot seat. You know, he's fighting for his life right now, and you know the Falcons just can't get out their own way. They're gonna suck. They're gonna got Marcus Mariota. Come on, man.
Yeah.
So
it feels like a placeholder, Barrett, till the kid takes over, doesn't it? I mean, I just don't see that. But
absolutely. So, then I'll go Panthers. Then I go Atlanta.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's man. If Jameis Winston's even pretty good, they're a playoff team.
Yes.
Because there's a lot there to work with for sure. How about you, Gunner?
If Drew Brees comes out of retirement, I'll flip my answer. But right now it's Tampa Bay, New Orleans, Carolina, Atlanta. Big loss.
Believe you might do that?
I don't know. Hey,
it's kind of weird. Like he's not in TV this year.
No. Hey, Tom Brady unretired real quick. You never know. Now, Drew Brees, his body's had a year to heal up. His mind's had a year to free itself. You know, he had a diversion working in television. Who knows? Maybe he's motivated again. If you think about it, the receivers that Barrett just mentioned, Jarvis Landry, Chris Olave, along with Michael Thomas, who missed all of last year because of an injury, that's the best collection of receivers the Saints have had in quite some time. Even during their years when they were Super Bowl contenders, it was always Michael Thomas and a bunch of other guys. Now you got Olave, Jarvis Landry, you got speed, and then you got Thomas. Height is 6'5". You can throw it up in the clouds and he'll go get it. You know, but you know what I'm saying? Michael Thomas, if it's in his area code, he does not miss. You know, plain and simple. He does not drop passes. He does not miss. You know,
Winston has a cannon, bro.
And Winston does have a cannon, but which Winston is going to be on the field? The one that threw 30 interceptions, or the one that got off to a good start last year before he had the ACL tear? You know, we don't know. Now, if Winston is the quarterback, I think New Orleans is going to be right there behind Tampa. You know, Tampa lost one of its Pro Bowl offensive linemen to retirement. That's a big loss for that offensive line. You know, JPP is not there anymore. That was big for them in terms of pass rush coming off the edge. Their front seven did such a great job of disguising the deficiencies in the back end. Now you lose a little piece here and there. You know, that's a big difference now. How are you going to fill those gaps? I think they're
guys, bro. They're guys.
Yeah.
I think
with Baker Mayfield quarterbacking down in Carolina now, and if Christian McCaffrey comes back, Carolina's going to be heck to deal with. They're going to be heck to deal with. Yep. Those two players alone will make Carolina that much more lethal. You know, if Baker, and I'm not saying Baker's elite, but Baker is a good middle of the road quarterback.
Yes,
that's all you need sometimes to guide a team. And he's going to inject an energy there that Sam Darnold just cannot inject. Okay. Now, Atlanta, Atlanta's another team that should be playing in the CFL. Them in Chicago should see if they can get admittance into the CFL just for one season, because I think both of them are nothing but bottom feeders this year. How in the world's going to, Colin Kaepernick is sitting there waiting for a call. You went out and get Marcus Mariota, first round bust? Really? That's what you. I mean, come on.
Move.
It's a strange move for them. So
and they let Russell Gage go, but I don't
yes.
know why they did it though.
Yes,
because they brought in Drake London.
And then your top receiver suspended for the year.
They overdrafted him too, by the way.
Yeah.
Drake London, yes.
Drake London, yeah. Now isn't your top receivers out for the season, right? For gambling?
Yeah, he's suspended for the year.
Suspended for the whole year.
Ridley.
They let Russell Gage go. They let Russell Gage
and
go.
They let Gage go. Yeah.
Yeah, they set up to be really bad.
That team's hurt. Really so unless we find out Breeze is coming out, I'll say Tampa Bay and New Orleans will be bird dogging them if Jameis can stay healthy. I don't think Jameis is a quarterback to get him over the hump against Tampa in a big game, though.
Okay. So that's the South. We have run through now the South and the North. And let's go West now. Good division. Rams, defending champs. 49ers, perennial playoff team. Cardinals, playoff team. Seahawks, rebuild, really question marks all over the place with that team, including quarterback, with no more Russell Wilson. I'm going to go, again, kind of obvious with the Rams. They're just talented, man. There's too much talent there, and McVay's too smart for them not to be good again. Repeating and winning it is a different story, but in terms of coming out of the division, I'll take the Rams. 49ers, a lot of this rides on what the heck they're doing at quarterback, and I don't even know if they know at this point what they're doing at quarterback. It just tells me that I feel like they just don't trust Trey Lance. It would be.
I don't blame him.
No, I'm saying, but it would be like we should be there by now at this point, especially with Garoppolo's injury, because they're not sold he's going to start the year, by the way. So anyway,
you're right,
and he's still there. Yeah,
even older people that went in and talked to the organization, like older guys or guys that that are have the inside with information with the 49ers. They have said that they don't trust that he's ready to play yet. They don't trust him being the captain of the team yet, but they know they have to let him go. They have to let him play because they're about to let the starter go.
Okay.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, well, and there's still people that are holding out hope that Garoppolo is going to get dealt potentially to the Seahawks. Would be kind of a weird in-division move, but all right. The Cardinals, to me, it sets up bad for me. They've collapsed the last couple of years. I'm not sold Kingsbury's an NFL coach. I don't feel like the teammates love Kyler Murray. And you're probably without DeAndre Hopkins
6 games.
6 games, right? I don't think that's changing. I don't know if he's appealed or whatever.
Hasn't changed.
It's a monster loss to not have him for the first 6 games. So there's talent on that team, but I think they were like 8-8, 9-7, or I should say 8-9, 9-8 territory. I got to get used to the 17 games. They could very much be on the outside looking in for the playoffs, and I don't see it with Seattle even a little bit. I think they're 100% a last place team. So whoever wants it. Gunner, you want to jump on the West?
I'm going to go with the Rams because you look at the Rams did this offseason. I mean, basically they just reloaded, in a lot of ways. You go out and you get Bobby Wagner. I mean, seriously, you look at the secondary.
Still a monster.
Got Jordan Fuller, Jalen Ramsey. You up front, you got Aaron Donalds, Leonard Floyd. I mean, the offense, Van Jefferson, I think, is one of the more underrated receivers in the game, even though he's still a young receiver. Very good receiver. You got Allen Robinson, which was a steal to get Allen Robinson to go along with Cooper Kupp. Are you kidding me? I love their running back situation with Cam Akers and Darrell Henderson Jr. I think it would be a huge mistake for the Rams to not do exactly what they did last year, spread the wealth. Some teams win, and all of a sudden they change their identity, i.e. the Eagles, and change their identity, and look what you have to go through to try to get back to where you were. And if the Rams stay and do exactly what they did last year, they're going to be right there at the end in the conference championship game. Now, I picked Arizona second only because we don't know the certainty of who's going to be quarterback in San Francisco. I think it would be a huge mistake for the 49ers to let Garoppolo just walk. We keep hearing about trade, and they're going to put, Trey Lance in there. I don't think that kid's ready to take over that team, to be honest. I don't think he's shown enough. I think he's shown enough as a gadget quarterback like a Taysom Hill, but not as a true NFL quarterback. And so I think you need that guy who can manage the game. That's what the 49ers claim to fame was, two things: rugged defense and a quarterback who managed a talented offense. And I think Garoppolo, whenever he heals up, needs to be back in there. You look at the 49ers defense, that defense is nasty. I think it's one of the nastiest defenses, one of the most physical. I mean, what do they have? 5, 6 first-round picks on their defense?
Yeah, they're
Something
really
crazy
good.
like that.
Really good,
really
including good. Bosa. Yeah,
but because of
Bosa, you got Fred Warner.
Oh my goodness,
Greenlaw. I mean,
jeez, it just goes on and on.
So I mean, you got guys that can step it up and play, man. You got people, rush the passer. I mean, nobody talks about Armstead. Armstead was crushing people. Didn't he block the field goal?
That's right.
In the game. I mean, come
people
on,
forget
man.
D Ford's on that defense.
Yeah.
Do you guys wonder? I don't want to gloss over this. Like, where's Debo's head going to be at?
Right. Right.
Do you worry about that at all?
No, but Debo got his money.
Yeah, but he said he doesn't want to be used like he hinted that he didn't want to. He wanted to just kind of be a receiver.
Yeah, you know why? Because during negotiations, they tried to pull that, as they've done on other players before. Is he a receiver or is he a running back?
Yeah, you get a cheaper number if you're a running
back. They tried to do that. So now that he's got his money, hey, you can use me as the gunner on punt for that kind of money. I play gunner. You want me to sell popcorn in the stands? I'll do that. I got my money now.
All right. Okay. I'm just throwing it out there.
Oh, no, I agree.
They let the safety walk, though, man. We acquired the safety, so they let him walk, man. I know you got Jimmy Ward back there, but I mean, I don't know who the new guy is, Hufanga. I don't know who he is. So
you got Emmanuel Mosley and George Odom as your and Jimmy Ward as your safety. Jimmy Ward and Greg Odom. Your corners are Shavarius Ward and Emmanuel Mosley, and then you got Jason Verrett as one of your backups. He's not even penciled in as a starter right now. Mm-hmm. So they got a nice trio of cornerbacks there. I just think the 49ers defense is going to beat the crap out of a lot of teams. They're just going to beat you down.
DeMeco Ryans, man.
Oh, my dad, DeMeco Ryans. You know what? Kudos to him. One of the nicest guys you ever wanted to meet.
Yep.
And he takes over for Robert Saleh, and obviously he learned his lesson well, because that 49ers defense did not miss a beat. Even with think about all the injuries they had on that defense, and they still didn't miss a beat last year. And we still haven't talked. We didn't talk about George Kittle. George Kittle plays football angry. Like he has no friends in the world. You took his last dollar. You talked about his mother. I mean, it's like when that man carries a football, I'm watching him on TV, and it hurt me just watching him on TV. I'm sitting there going, well, he freight trains people, and then he backs up and finishes them off.
Well, do you guys like Elijah Mitchell, man? I mean,
I love him.
I do like him. Yeah,
I do. I love him.
I think he gets a little worse for wear. He's small, but he plays so big, and sometimes that hurts you as a running back.
Yeah, it's a matter of holding up. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
right.
Brandon Ayuk. I love Brandon Ayuk as a pass catcher. Even though he was in the doghouse for about 6-7 games last year for dropping passes, I love his game overall.
Right.
They got all the pieces to be dangerous in the NFC.
Yeah, I would agree. with that. All right, so you guys want to move on to the East? We move on to the NFC East. Did you finish your West? You got everybody in there. You got your Cardinals in there and your Seahawks.
I didn't even mention Seattle. They ain't even.
They're not even worth mentioning.
No, I'll go the same way. I'll go Rams, 49ers, Arizona, then Seattle also.
Okay. We go to the East: Giants, Washington, Eagles, Cowboys. I'll start. I really think it's a toss-up who wins the division. I think it's really close between the Eagles and the Cowboys. I know it's kind of popular in Philadelphia to just write the Cowboys off, and the Eagles are going to surpass them. I think they're close.
Why don't we get started when we come back from the break, man?
All right, you want to do that? Okay. Yeah. All right, we'll dig into the Eagles and the Cowboys when we get back, and as well as Washington and the Giants. We'll do the NFC East when we get back, and we'll do a little running back discussion, current day running back, when we get back as well. Barrett Brooks, Derek Gunn, Rob Ellis. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Right back.